wake up. I know you're out there, Father. You came back to save me, and I won't let you down! I know you're kind. You think you can waltz in and just take our planet. But you forgot one thing. I'm my father's son! I'm so proud of you.
Alright, what's the word? This is Average Z Fighter. I hope you guys are having a blessed day today. And this is right after the patch. I'm going to be doing a neutral guide after the Shallot patch. This is going to be kind of interesting. It's not just a normal neutral guide, but I think it's probably the most effective way to practice neutral. And it is a neutral guide without flying kicks. So I'm going to be using various characters of various combo speeds, but none of them will have flying kicks. We're going to see how I get wins. I'm going to kind of analyze and examine the matches. So this is Super Saiyan 2 Goku that I'm starting out with. His strings are Key Cannon, Gut Punch, Rolling Hammer, and then Gut Punch again with a step-in Gut Punch as well. And the first thing I want to say about, doing kind of neutral or how neutral functions when you don't have flying kicks is the way that I do it, you have to be patient. Patience is key. I think the skills in this guide that we're going to go over are crucial to know if you want to up your game and be a better player just on Sparking Zero in general. Because even if you have flying kicks, even if you don't have whatever strings I'm going to mention, or if you do, it's just another tool in your arsenal that you're going to be able to use. So this playstyle really feeds and it hinges on a read and react playstyle. And so if you look at the way that I'm fighting here, the reason why flying kicks are so important is because you can open up your opponent's guard from the front, which is obviously the only place where you can guard. I don't have that with any of these characters that I'm fighting, and so I have to read and react. So as you can see, I knew that my opponent was going to do a revenge counter right there, and so I held perception and waited for him to use it. That's a react playstyle. I had read him before, and I knew that he would do that. At this point, I'm just trying to see how I can get around him and stuff like that, because I know I've won the match already because of how much health I have. But as you can see, a lot of it is blocking and all of that stuff. I saw that he did a heavy there, and I knew he would do another one, and so that's how I was able to win that match right there. What I often spend my first match doing, besides reading the connection and the vanish timings, is I try to look for repeated patterns that the person who I'm fighting continues to do every single match. And so we're going to see what I learned from the last match to this next one. We take the rematch here.
How about a little Saiyan style introduction? I'm Shallot. Anyway, let's fight. So you want to train with me while I'm super...
So one thing that I noticed right off the bat from the last match is this person loves to use perception and then loves to do the back step. And so I hit with some key blast if your opponent is continuously spamming sidestep, all you have to do is shoot some key blasts. And key blasts do a couple things. They're going to hold your opponent in place, and they're going to allow you to initiate your offense. Check this out. So right after a revenge counter, if you down smash or do any type of smash, then you can catch your opponent off guard. A lot of good opponents will just sidestep after the revenge counter, or they will use the revenge counter exploit. Here, as you see, he sidesteps that. He's adapting, which is pretty cool. Something else that he really likes to do is to punch vanish spam. So you see I did 3 sidesteps there. And because I can't initiate offense from the front unless I charge something up. But what you don't want to do is charge a gut punch or a rolling hammer, because it could just be sidestepped, if that makes sense. And I just learned this from reading my opponent. So as you can see, it's really a mid-range approach. So it's a sidestep. Finally got some of that. Knew that he was coming back. Revenge counter, down smash like I was telling you before. And that's the match. Now, obviously, if you are a read and react player at this point, you will see that I'm going to down smash after the revenge counters. And so that's not something that I want to continue to do. the point of this game is to not be predictable. So let's see how it goes in the third match. All right, match starts off with me reading and see what my opponent is going to do. As you can see, I'm blocking, and he does that back step, but I vanish after that to get behind him. So what I should have did, and you see the little troll and stuff right there. I don't know why people do this when they lose. It's just a game. But so as you can see, sidestepping, reading that. He likes to sidestep 2 to 3 times. Very good super counter. And as you see, I'm just reading, and then I'm trying to slow him down from the side steps. And so I was using the key blast, getting the super counters. That's also something that's very important. You gotta be able to super counter if you're gonna use characters like this. As you can see, he's adapting as well, and these side steps are really getting him. I use the rolling hammer to turn him around so I can get some meaningful damage off. I've noticed with this patch, a lot of people are overly aggressive. You don't have to be so aggressive. And so if you could just read and react and just wait. And then some key back. And then I punish right after that because there's a little bit of an animation that he has to get through. Good read by him. A lot of times all you got to do is block mid. Something that you should do if you're going to adopt this playstyle is learn how to, or learn where your opponent's flying kicks are. His are on 3, and he's out of there. All right, those were some really solid matches in my opinion. And as you can see by match 3, my opponent was also reading and reacting, adapting a little bit. So playstyles like this are good for the opponent and for you as a fighter. But we're going to go to our next fighter. And for this one, I chose second form Cell. His strings are heavy finish is going to be number 1. Number 2 is also heavy finish. Number 3 is blaster wave. And number 4 is rolling hammer with a step in, heavy finish, or gut punch as well. Now he is a bit more of a slower hitting fighter than Super Saiyan 2 Goku was. So you have to take that into consideration, especially with lag and stuff like that. You can get blocked or perceptioned in the middle of your combos because he hits so slow. I should say he hits a little bit slower. There are characters who hit slower than he does. I think he's pretty okay to me. I would say use your first match to really gather as much information as you can. What does your opponent like to do? What is the net code like? What are the vanish timings? What are the super counter timings? All right, so I get my opponent's back, and I know that he's going to use an explosive wave, so I revenge counter it. Does my opponent vanish the revenge counter? No, so that means that that's a viable thing that I can do again next time. Also, don't want to be predictable, so we do some Dragon Dash follow-ups instead of just vanish follow-ups. Right there, so in this new patch, you can recover a little bit faster automatically after a sweep. So just keep that in mind. Also, I can see that my opponent can super counter, so let me keep that in mind with how much ki that I have. I want to watch my ki. He uses the buff, and then he Dragon Dashes right behind me. So I'm like, okay, that will probably show up again in our match. So let me just expect that for the next time. All right, you can see that the Blaster Wave was a good move right there after the sweep because it's a move that hits in 360 degrees, so in all directions, no matter where he would have stepped, he would have been hit by the Blaster Wave. Something else is, even when you know you're going to win, remain patient. All right, as you can see, we win that match there, and we do get the rematch as well. So let's keep an eye on how we can adapt from the last thing that we learned in the last match, and also how our opponent is adapting. Let's do it.
Feasting on the...
All right, we start off with a little bit of passive movement, trying to draw some movement out from the opponent. Very aggressive, 3 side steps, and then a punish. So this opponent is pretty aggressive and can super counter, which is pretty cool. So I'm watching the ki. I'm being patient. And then remember I told you about the ki blast. You can use those ki blasts to paralyze your opponent. It kept him right in place for me to be able to follow up with a rush chain. So there's that move again. Got some ki back. He's being a little bit more patient. But I'm reading it. I got the... no, he has the key advantage, actually. But he messes up. So as you see, I'm not thirsty. Paralyze him with some Ki Blast. And then here, from the last match, I memorized what the step-in timing is to super counter. So you're going to see that a couple times. Match 1 was used to gather as much information as possible. Match 2 is used to adapt. I missed the step in there, but I get it right there. And I'm not thirsty to follow up after follow up. I got to check my ki. I have 5 stock points. His stock moves are going to be Pump Up and Solar Flare, so I'm going to not really use those moves and save it for the revenge counters on the explosive waves. You see I get that step in, super counter again, and then I'm watching my ki. I'm not too thirsty to follow up. I get all of my ki because he has a ki regeneration move, and I get the punish again, and then I hit the buff right here to get some more damage off. You see I vanish after the faster movement of after being swept. That's new in this patch. And he does something smart, has to hit me with a super because he sees I'm getting a lot of damage off. But here, you do not want to panic. You want to remain calm, continue to read your opponent. I would have vanished that, but it lagged right there at the auto combo. As you can see, he's adapting as well. I'm paralyzing him right there. Right, and then he tries to hit me with another super, but I vanished that one. And then I try and punish, but he's adapting. So I use my revenge counter. And then I get him out of there with a Ki Blast. Something else to note, especially with characters like this, it's really good, just for any character, to throw Ki Blast in the middle of your combo, especially if you have your opponent's back. It's free damage, and there is no counter to it. So you can super counter even light rush chains and stuff like that. You could vanish heavy ones. With Ki Blast, there's nothing you can do about it.
Feasting on the tree of might's fruit.
All right, this is the beginning of match 3, and I'm a little bit more aggressive because I don't want to keep doing the same thing. I'm still reading though. I know that he doesn't have any flying kicks, so I'm just blocking neutral, waiting for that charged gut punch, and then I can sidestep out of the way. I do the Dragon Dash loop right here. Throw some Ki Blast. And then hit him with a sweep. Just being patient. Step in gut punch. Step in gut punch for characters who don't have flying kicks is really good. Or step in rolling hammer is a little better to me. And then he does that Dragon Dash behind me again. I just sidestep that. Good grab. I do the revenge counter. 2 side steps, 3 side steps. But he vanished, which was really good. And then I turn him around with the rolling hammer. Rolling hammer is almost invaluable for characters like this because you can do the rolling hammer reset if they have the capability to do that, and then you don't have to charge it to get its effect, which is to turn your opponent around, because it's very hard to get combos from the front with these characters. So I'm still in ki advantage, but I'm watching my ki. Sidestep gut punch. Another sweep, he's gonna move. And then try to get the grab. It's also good just to know things that pertain uniquely to your character. So my character has a grab that restores my health. Hit him with the revenge counter because I wasn't using my skill points, and we win that set. The different characters have different kind of gimmicks. You want to know that as well and use it to your advantage. Unpredictably, of course. So you can actually get it off. You don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over again. But let's go to the next match and fighter. All right, here I was trying to see who I'm going to pick next. This whole patch was about making more characters viable. And I wanted to just kind of accentuate that or augment that by putting out this neutral guide as well, using characters that I don't really see people use. And so this character that I'm going to pick is actually a step slower than second form Cell, more in the realm of the Brolys. And so I wanted to use a character like this. So we picked King Cold. I looked through the rush strings, and then we're going to try and get a match. King Cold's rush strings are gut punch, key cannon, rolling hammer with a step in gut punch. Very interesting. He has like a death beam move, and then he has a super explosive wave. All right, and then for his skills, he has an explosive wave, and then he has a buff, which is pretty cool. You see, I'm extremely counterpicked and outmatched. This guy hits pretty fast. He has flying kicks, and I hit slow, and I do not have flying kicks. But let's see if we can pull a win out of this one. So as you remember what I said, you just try to learn as much as you can. So I was able to hit a super counter. All right, getting some vanishes going. All right, you can see after I win this vanish war, my character is not fast enough to follow up. And he loves to sidestep, and then he loves to dash up. So you're going to see that come back around. I'm finally getting a little bit of meaningful damage off. And then when he has this, this hyper armor going on, I just disengage. You got to hit him with a heavy in order to get any type of movement. Otherwise, they can perception. They can do whatever in the middle of the combo. I switch it up, just try to run that timer down by doing some dragon dashes. You see, I sidestep his sidestep, and I go for the down smash. In these exchanges, you really have to be sure that your hit is going to land. You can see he sidesteps and hits 3 times before I can even swing once. And so that's kind of a downside to these characters. They often do hit a little harder, though, which is, a plus side. More than just DP, but you have hard-hitting characters. Good super counter by him. And then the revenge counter missed. When I get the gut punch, I thought he was going to use a revenge counter, but he didn't. Turn him around with that rolling hammer, but he gets me out of there. All right, so what did we learn? We learned that he loves to sidestep. He loves to use that hyper armor. He's much quicker than I am, and he does not manage his ki very well. So let's see what we can do for the next match.
We'll finish you once and for.
All right, so we get it started. Something I forgot to mention is King Cold's ki blasts are like freezes. They're the death beam style ones. Very good for punishing, sparking. Very good for paralyzing an opponent quickly because they come out so fast. And so I can see he loves to do the down smashes from mid-range to start his offense. So I'm just going to be careful of those. He wins that little exchange. I watch my ki. He's spending his time shooting ki blasts at me instead of charging his ki. So there we go. I got the super counter timing. I don't know why I didn't get that revenge counter, but it just is what it is. He knows that I'm hitting low now, and so I'm not going to do that again. I have the ki advantage. And he likes to do the revenge counters. He does not have the proper ki blast to reset, and they nerfed that anyway. I'm trying to watch my ki. Hit him with the down smash like I showed you guys before. I turn him around, get some good meaningful damage off. I'm not able to vanish that auto combo for some reason. I think that was my fault though, not lag. Down smash, catch him, and that's the win. All right, I recognize that this guy is not that good if I keep the unpredictable pressure on him. So I stay just close enough to hit a mid-range attack, but I don't attack from mid-range. I kind of just see what he's going to do and exploit his lack of patience. So let's see what happens this next match.
I, Gogeta, will finish you once and for all.
So I start the offense off with those ki blasts I was telling you about and hit him with a gut punch. I turn him around. He's not getting my step in hits, so I'm pretty golden on that. I vanish that turnaround or that rolling hammer that he has, and I hit him with a super counter for his step in hit. I win this exchange, trying to get some extra damage off, and I take this time to charge my ki. I let him do what he wants to do because I want to run the time of that super armor down. I'm shooting some charged ki blasts. You can still get some damage off. That was a very good interaction from him, and I still can't vanish the auto combo for some reason. All right. Get some damage off. He's going crazy right now. Turn him around. I love that I have, for this character, I have Rolling Hammer on 3 or 4, so you never know when it's coming. If you try and vanish on 3, you will not get to vanish on 4, and vice versa. I'm gonna turn him around again. He gets to vanish. He's punching mid. Hit him with the light smash. I thought he would have used revenge counter right here because he has enough, but he decided not to. This is coming down to the wire. He does both of his buffs. I'm like, okay, he on business right here, so had to block that. I should have perceptioned it. It's all good. I do one on my buffs right here, which is not the smartest thing. I prefer to use them when I'm behind the opponent. I'm like, all right, I got my explosive wave. I'm not about to lose like that. And that's it. I know he didn't expect me to use the explosive wave because I was not predictable. But yeah, I hope these tips and tools really help you guys win more neutral battles. Just be patient, and then you add flying kicks in there and you are golden. Take your time, super counter your step-in hits, and you're going to upgrade your game. I appreciate everybody for watching. Father, in Jesus' name, I pray for everybody who laid their eyes on this video and heard my voice. God, I just pray in Jesus' name that you'll cover them in your blood, draw them closer to you. Help us to remember, God, that this life is not about video games or anything vain. It's about a closer relationship with you. I thank you, God, that you will just continue to draw us closer to you in Jesus' name. Until next time, Average Z Fighter out. Ciao.